Hello everyone, this is my whiteboard of ideas. You can see I have a lot going on here. I have some more notes in my room, which I'll come back to, but I wanted to talk about today the power of a whiteboard, why it's probably the best investment you'll ever make, and how I use mine, because I've got a lot of stuff. So I want to kind of break that down. Hopefully I'm in frame right here. My tripod's broken, so I'm going to try and make sure the thing doesn't fall over. You can see ideas, right? That's very clear off the bat. I have some notes pinned here, got magnets to try and hold everything up. And I kind of just wanted to walk through a few of my ideas that I put on here, and then how I kind of utilize the whiteboard to, one, of course, store ideas, but then two, to keep reminding myself of habits. And yeah, I feel like that's probably one of the biggest bottlenecks for myself, is that it's not hard to learn new information, but it's to retain it and to keep it inside my brain. So I have to write it down, physically look somewhere to do it. And before I actually get to the whiteboard, I have proof of that so deeply ingrained that you could see here above where I go to bed. If it's aimed right, you could see there's a notepad, or well, there's not a notepad, but like there's little notes there, and that's above where I sleep, because every night, like we all go to bed, I want to be able to see what I'm planning for the next day, or what I know I need to do, and it just putting my eyes on those words helps kind of embed that. So anyways, a lot of stuff here on the board. Let me get into it. So a lot of it is business related stuff, as you might imagine, but some of it's just like other habits that I want to kind of teach my brain and change the wiring of. So I try and end every day by checking off one of these points. This is one of the first things I put on the whiteboard. So the first one, you can't really see it here, but I know it is. It's creativity. It is, oh shoot, I think that says financial. I'm not quite sure. No, mental, sorry. Mental, physical, spiritual, financial, and then analysis and kindness. So as I drop my marker, there's a few things on there, and I'll break down why I do each one of these. So creativity. I threw this on the board because there was a point in my life where I thought everything I was doing was too mundane, and it definitely was that way, and I definitely had a lot of people tell me that. And I thought that my best ideas came to me when I had a little bit of creativity in my circle. If it was just work, 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 grinding, that's, you hear new age stuff on media talk about grind, 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 grind. And that makes you a very dry person, I found. And if I have some other thing I can do, like martial arts or music, or I go out and, do my athletics, right? In terms of like running and stuff, then it gives me a lot more to play with. And I found in my life, I've had the most success when I go do other stuff, not directly focusing my energy on trying to grow, for example, my business or my running. A lot of other stuff bleeds in the different areas, and it just creates this really beautiful symphony of my day and my output. So creativity is one of them. Mental, I try to educate myself every day. So from, that being, you can't see that, sorry. From that being books, that being audiobooks, that being podcast, I try and consume as much as I can, because I've been plugged into this platform. I had an episode on it on my podcast, and it's called The Information Age. That's what we're in right now. We have so much information available, from, you having this camera and ingesting this education. We have ebooks, we have books, or actual books, we have audios, we have many, many different ways to learn from people other than just sitting down in a conversation and learning. So I try and always educate myself, listen to a few audios a day, some podcasts, and whatever else I can really get in, just to keep learning, and not just learn stuff, but stuff that's actually practically helping me right now. And I'll tie into that later on how I know what I need to learn in my life. But next up is physical. I always like to start the day in the same regimen of doing physical training. So that's, for me, running a lot, but it could even be going to the gym later that day, martial arts as well as a double dip. So all that stuff is just something I like to do to start my day up. My body is a tendency, as a human being, you kind of have the DNA of your ancestors in you, and our ancestors ran and threw spears at animals. So we have this tendency to want to move our body, and when we don't, we kind of feel a little mentally messed up, because that's what we need to do. That's our DNA. So I always exercise exercise in the morning. So physical's on the list. Spiritual, I've been really getting a lot closer to faith in the last, I'd say, year. And I mean, everything's gone up ever since then. So yeah, always trying to practice praying, going to church a few times a month. I have the Bible over there as well. Got to make a better habit of reading it, but just connecting myself to faith. I mean, it doesn't matter if you believe in the universe, you believe in God, or whatever you believe in. But I mean, I as a Christian know that that's really helped me grow. So having faith in something bigger than just other human beings, a force that is not to be reckoned with, has been huge and monumental for me. Financial. So of course, am I doing something to help fuel my business? Am I doing it to help other people? Because that's really how you make money, is by helping people. So am I helping people? That's what financial goes around. But did I work on the thing that's actually paying my bills and allowing me to go do other things to help more people, right? So financial is always something I have to try and check off in the day. Analysis, that's at the end of the day. I always plan out my next day with a little help from AI tools, but I always plan it out. So analysis allows me to go over the day, what I like, what I not like, and then how I can do it and drag over tasks I didn't get done into the next day. And lastly is kindness. Kindness is key. If you're a selfless person, you're going to be happy inside. That sounds weird. Well, if you didn't do anything for yourself, how could you be happy? Well, no, you're doing something by yourself by helping other people. You're using your energy and your time to help other people get to their goals, and that's going to make me feel good. And yeah, what else am I going to do with my time, right? I got to help other people around me. Do it for the man beside you, right? So kindness is on the list. And then lastly, talking about all this stuff, how it ties into knowing what to do. That's the theory of constraints, and I learned that from Dan Martell, but he learned it from someone else, but I'll credit Dan Martell for it. Theory of constraints is understanding, what do I do to get to my goal? And basically, the belief of the theory of constraints is that there's one bottleneck that's keeping you from your goal. And if you put all of your energy into attacking that bottleneck to open it up, you'll be able to go ahead and do your goal. And of course, there'll be more bottlenecks along the way. But if you keep putting your energy into each one of those bottlenecks and just hammering out all the kinks in the hose, then eventually you're going to have flowing water all the way through and you're going to be able to get to your goal. So the theory of constraints is something I leverage to know, okay, how do I grow my business? How do I grow with my physical ability? How do I manage my time better? Oh, this is a problem? Well, guess what? What if we made it more efficient, or if we moved it to this specific day at the same time? Super helpful. I definitely recommend you try and listen to Dan Martell talk about it, and also just apply the general practice to your life. I'm going to have to do a multiple point series of my whiteboard because this could get really, really lengthy, but I'll just call this part 1. So this is the goal, daily set stuff, general practices, and let's see, this is just like stuff I kind of have on my mind. So this is my space actually to just use it as a whiteboard. And if you just watched my social media, I actually just crossed this one off. I want to make a book review channel because, not because I want to keep posting more. God, I do enough of that. What I want to do is I want to put out content out there to be a reminder to myself, but then also to educate other people about what books are good, because books are wonderful resources and I enjoy using them to, educate myself, but two, explaining them back to someone helps me learn. That's something else I'll cover too. I got a lot on this board, and it helps me be able to retain that information better. Meaning, like I said before, solving my constraint. It's a very, very big loophole if you're following along. And what's next? Yeah, I wrote information age down there. I really just use the board as something to look at, like just to snap things in my mind. I come in my room or I get up in the morning and immediately I'm looking at the board. I'm going, boom. Okay. I remember it all, right? So that's what I like using this board for. The last thing I'll do, just because I have some stuff I have to do after I have to cut this video short, is talking about this. This one's probably my favorite thing I have on the board here, and it's this selfless idea that I've had, and it's this theory that everyone, I hope, tries to practice in their life. But for me, it's that the key is just to help people. If I do that, whatever I do in my life, I'll be okay. That's really the truth of it. If I go out, I'm always helping out other people, I'm always spending my time and my energy to better someone else's life, then I believe in good karma. Something's going to come back to me in a good way. And I've already seen that a lot with, these events I'm doing with my business, and just all this good stuff keeps pouring back. And it's like, I'm not even trying. I'm just doing what I need to do. Like, this is just bonus. So in my mind, it's like, this is all wonderful. And it's more than I ever expected, because I never expected much in the first place. So not that you can't have high expectations. I certainly do put high expectations on myself, but in some regards, if I'm constantly I'm just doing what I need to do and a little bit more, then a lot more compound interest comes back. It hits me like a good pat on the back. So yeah, that's just kind of what I want to break down to tie off part one of my whiteboard here and what kind of goes on in my brain. I have some people asking me questions like that, so I thought it'd be cool to explain. And yeah, let me know in the comments if you want me to do further breakdowns of this stuff, because I really do love talking about how I kind of work things out in my mind and how I'm just building my life. All right. And I'm open to criticism too. I love hearing feedback from other people. All right.